All right, we're recording? Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Confessions of a Rock and Roll Wifey. I'm your hostess, Rhea, and I'm here with my sexy co-host, the peanut butter to my jelly, Darren Brown.
Hi.
And I have our guests here today, G-Dogg.
Hi.
And Kevin from Godhammered. Woo! So today we are coming together to have an episode, a second annual episode for the 9/11 remembrance with G-Dogg. We're talking about the show, his charities that he is working for, and things he's doing for that. And then we're going to talk to Kevin as well. And his band is playing on the night of the show, 9/11, September. It's actually on September 10th.
Right.
But it's for the, yeah, okay. And yeah, so that's what we're here for today. And we're at G-Dogg's house.
Yep. Thank you, G-Dogg.
Yes, thank you for having us.
It's always great to have you guys over, and this is like a tough time of year for me, so doing things like this is a great distraction.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the support and the opportunity to spread awareness for the anniversary and promote the show.
Yes.
There's we got 5 hard hitters, some vets like Godhammered are coming back, and then we have a couple new bands, or one brand new band. Actually, technically, they're not even new. They just haven't played for 7 or 8 years, but another band that's coming back off their hiatus.
What band is that?
Nothing Haunts Me.
Okay.
Yeah, they played it in 2013. 2013 they played the show. And,
Okay, I knew I'd heard of them before.
Yeah, they're fun. So, yeah, we're getting started early this year at the show. Doors are opening at 6:30. So,
nice.
Yeah, Nothing Haunts Me is at 7.
That's not a bad problem to have.
It's not. No. Definitely, Brick by Brick has been so accommodating over the years, allowing me to utilize the venue to have the shows, and they've just been like family over the last 15 years now.
Oh, yeah. They're
cause,
always supportive of all the things that you put together.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And everybody.
My favorite venue in San Diego. I would say that in Full Circle probably. Michelle out in Santee, her venues.
Oh yeah, she's killing it right now.
She's absolutely killing it. Yeah, she's incredible too. So, so shout out to Brick and Full Circle too. Got to support our friends. So. Definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. Speaking of that, thank you for supporting me and being here.
Of course.
And thank you guys for sharing your time. I appreciate it. And yeah, we're here for a super serious reason, but we're going to have fun anyways. So are you still doing all the same things, the stair climb and everything like that this year?
Yeah, everything's still happening. So the last 2 years, in 2020 and 21, the San Diego 9/11 stair climb was not happening. 2020 was due to COVID. 2021, I never got an official reason, but I know the state opened last June again, officially or whatever. My feeling is that the official stair climb did not happen last year either, because I don't think there was enough time to prepare for the stair climb. It's just, the 9/11 stair climb is a massive event in San Diego. I mean, there's tons of vendors.
Lots of people.
Giant beer garden. There's a stage with bands. It's like this whole 8 in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon kind of thing, and thousands of people are there. It's insane. And it's just it's a really moving event, and I think that's why it didn't happen last summer. It's just because trying to get all the vendors lined up and everything. But that said, in 2020 and 2021, my stair climb team, which is named Team Deora, named after my friend Deora Bodley, who was killed on United Flight 93 on September 11th, we did the climb anyway at one of our teammates' office buildings downtown. In 2020, we did it on September 11th, climbed 115 stories. Not that there's a 115-story building in San Diego, but her office building was 22 stories. So we did the stairwells 5 times.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we say 110 stories because the World Trade Center was a 110-story building.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that in 2020, and then we did it again last year down at her office. And we had a tremendous amount of support from the community. We raised a ton of money for firefighter aid in 2020 and 21, and that's primarily because we stuck with firefighter aid specifically because the 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb benefits firefighter aid. So you have the actual organization, and then underneath firefighter aid, there are several charities within their umbrella: Psych Armor Institute, Firefighter Cancer Support Network, National Fallen Firefighters Association. So all the money is going to those charities to support firefighters and their families.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, great.
And there is a way that other people can help without actually doing this, right? Without
Absolutely.
Participating in the climb.
Yes, absolutely. So people they have I want to say they have the option to virtually climb, or obviously just support. There's a ton of teams.
But they can donate money as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have our Team Deora page, and then we all have our own individual pages as well. It's through this organization called Race Roster, and there were little bumps in the road initially, kind of getting things set up, and surprisingly, this morning I was able to get things worked out with them. So we'll utilize social media to put our links up for our individual pages and for the team page, so people can donate. That's how we get our donations, is through we just promote through Facebook, or we can just privately text people the link or whatever.
Yeah.
And as people donate, we get emails, so and so donated to Team DR,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's usually the last, we're right in the stretch where the donations will start probably pouring in now, the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. And is that the same thing that from last year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you guys did that last year. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I donated.
You did?
Yes, I loved it when you put my name up and said, Rhea donated. I was yes, I did. And that promotes more donations, too. It makes you feel good, know?
It does. And, and it's as I'm typing that on Facebook, it just occurred to me, are people okay with that? You know what I mean? I'm kind of blasting. I'm thank you for supporting Team Deora,
Think of it.
But it's why would I not want to thank them and show people, it kind of, to me, it's it just it talks about the character of people when they support. Mm-hmm. So it's why would I why would I not want to share that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dude, these are amazing people. Everybody who sees that post, it's dude, I wish I was as awesome as Rhea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I should be doing the same thing. You know what I mean? So
gratitude. What is it? Gratitude begets gratitude. Love. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact words of it, but yeah.
Love just breeds more love.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of it has to do with, it's been 21 years now, and a lot of, the country has moved on, and the world in general. And I mean, obviously people like myself and the families, we still live with it every day. So the anniversary coming up is always very difficult. But the rest of the country, for the most part, has they've gone on, you know what I mean? But it's important that everybody remembers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my whole thing now, is just educating the public on what happened.
And it is hard because there's a lot of things that keep happening.
That's the thing.
And so there's literally probably just different sections of the U.S. where people have their own version of 9/11, even if it didn't directly affect them.
Absolutely.
There's so many horrible things with the school shootings, with shootings in, whether it's a movie theater, a gay club, whatever. All these things have happened over the last 10 to 20 years since 9/11 has happened. And so it's unfortunate, but that can create this kind of almost numbness, and it makes you forget
kind of
a little bit. But it's really good to bring it up and talk about it and stuff like that, and especially for the people who are missing somebody, or remember that in a vivid way that causes them trauma.
It's been a long 21 years, that's for sure. God, I was going to say something too. Oh, so it's been 70. So since it happened, an estimated 75 to 80 million people have been born in the U.S. So they have no memory of it at all. Mm-hmm. They were not here when this happened, and it's just one of those things where it's it's American history. It's world history. I mean, that's the thing. It happened in the U.S., but 109 countries were affected by it. You know what I mean? And there's, I'd say 15 to 20 families alone in San Diego were directly affected by the events. And then, of course, since then, all of our service members who have gone off to Iraq and Afghanistan, I mean, those are just two of the bloodiest battles probably in the history of the country. And it's all because of that, you know what I mean? So it's like, I come from a military family, so like I have so much respect for particularly people who signed up after September 11th, because they felt there was a need to
do something.
Right, yeah, exactly, to react and do what we had to do, I guess, to address the situation. I mean, it took 10 years to get Bin Laden, but we got him, but it's like, it's frustrating because it's kind of like almost like cutting the head off a snake, and then another head just like pops up, what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very tradition. The war on terror, I've learned, is just from friends who have gone into the service since then. It's a very different kind of war. You know what I mean? There's really no return address for terrorists, you know what I mean? So they kind of are everywhere, and they have this way of being very patient and waiting till you least expect something, and then they do it, you know what I mean? And so going after these guys and everything, it's like I've got friends in the music scene who've served, and friends, my brother is a Marine. And
my brother and a couple of my nephews.
The conditions are just it's almost like they're superhuman going into these countries going after the enemy. It's the conditions are just unbearable. So it
takes a lot of heart and a lot of bravery.
Yeah, and it's not just what they're facing; it's leaving your family and trying to like balance that life, you know what I mean? It's like I've talked with like spouses or or partners where their loved one is like overseas, and they go weeks without hearing from them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I couldn't even imagine having to live like that, you know what I mean? And it all stems back to that morning, you know what I mean? It all stems back to September 11, 2001. And it just kind of changed the trajectory of the country, and just kind of how things are, really.
Yeah.
Our security, everything changed after that. It showed our vulnerabilities. And obviously we can't change what's happened in the past, but we can certainly educate people on what happened to help prevent things like that in the future. They say that those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. So I certainly would not wish that on anybody.
It's always good too to interject with people like you, G-Dogg, to keep this going, for this many years, and so kudos to you on that, man.
Thank you.
20 plus years of doing this, and I know it's hard for you every year around this time. But the amount of effort you put into this is just mind blowing, and it's very, very cool, and very appreciated, sir.
I appreciate it. It's like last year, I think it was the show last year. It was when Brick reopened last summer. And they had the private party, and it was like, a handful of us there. And Kevin was there, and I just, I mentioned, or actually Kevin had said, if you got a show coming up, G-Dogg, we're in, dude. Like, that was literally what he told me. I was like, the 9/11 benefits on September 10th. He's like, we're in. You know what I mean? Like,
that's awesome.
That kind of support is just, you just can't. I don't know.
You're very loved.
You are.
Truly,
See?
yeah.
He gives the
Truly
love.
can't
he
put it
gets
into
the love.
words, man.
Yeah.
Truly can't put it into words. That's what makes the San Diego music scene like the best scene in the world.
Yeah.
It's not just the talent of the musicians, which is literally, Godhammered and the Norse are just sitting here, and it's like, I would put them up against any fucking metal bands anywhere.
Yeah.
Good luck putting on a better show.
Yeah.
To anyone who's listening out there. Lots of luck on that. But it's their character and just who they are as people.
Yeah.
It just speaks volumes, Musically, they're amazing. As people, it's like, they're beyond amazing. That's the thing,
And you're right, the music scene, like, everybody, no matter what's been going on over the last few years or whatever, whenever there's something like this, like the 9/11 show or the Norse debut, you know, or whatever, like everybody shows up. And it's just really amazing to see.
Yeah.
I was like just so like blown away by everybody who came out to their first show.
Oh yeah.
And I know lots of people are going to be at the show coming up.
Yeah.
The 9/11 show. We're going to go.
Very excited.
So we'll be there. Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Last year, I think they were doing that whole testing stuff at the door and this and that, and you had to test before you came in and stuff.
Yep.
So that's why we didn't go, because I think that it was just by the time we found out that they were even doing that, it was like, oh my gosh, where do I get a test at? And everywhere was like
Right.
busy, and it was just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it was kind of like just a lot, you know, but I'm really glad that everything's calmed down with that. And so now, oh geez, I know, right? It comes and it goes.
Yeah.
But it'll be really cool to be there, and I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty packed.
Yeah. It's gonna be quite a day, because the stair climb is the San Diego 9/11 stair climb is in the morning.
Okay.
And then the show's at night.
What
So,
time do you have to be there?
ceremony at the stair climb starts at 8:00. It's
Okay.
downtown at the Bayfront Hilton. And
Is it going to be on the news?
oh yeah.
So we get to watch you.
There'll be tons of there'll be all the media's down there. I mean, yeah, there'll be live footage. I'm sure they'll be broadcasting from like Fox or the local channels, NBC, KUSI. Yeah, they're all usually down there. But it's the ceremony, or the event itself is amazing. Even if you're not actually climbing, it's like they actually have people who are survivors from 9/11. Like, they tell their stories, and these stories you just couldn't even imagine. You know, and they're standing there before you telling this story, and it's like, there was one woman who was working in Tower 1, and she just got into the lobby, and she met with her coworkers, and I'll never forget, she was telling me the story when I was talking with her, and how her friends went one way, she went another way to get coffee, and all of a sudden it was like she thought it was a massive earthquake.
Oh my god!
Then all of a sudden it was like she heard like these massive explosions, and what it was when Flight 11 hit Tower 1, all the jet fuel shot down the elevator shafts, and when it hit the lobby, it had to go somewhere, so it just blew out the elevator doors. And she said within less than like 20-30 seconds, her two friends that she was just meeting with came running by her, and they were both on fire. So it's like these stories that you hear are they're just so unfathomable.
Mind-blowing.
They are, absolutely. And at the same time, super inspiring,
Right.
Like, these are just ordinary people who work. And, so you meet some pretty incredible people at the event itself, Retired, my friend John Henderson's a retired firefighter who worked Ground Zero. He was from the Bronx. And he lives out here now and stuff, and so he's always there. So there's just a ton of great people there, and they usually have bands, and there's a giant beer garden. So after we're all done climbing, everybody goes in the beer garden and just like,
Yeah.
But it's always like you know how we all are in the scene, man. We get crazy,
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta like pace myself because I have the show that night, so I don't want to walk in and be all like,
Oh my
so.
gosh! Yeah, I would never be able to do that. If I'm in a beer garden,
Yeah.
there won't be no show later.
Yeah.
I'll be too tired.
It's one of those, like, there's just so much motivation during the event itself. Like, you're climbing the stairs, and you're climbing with, like, firefighters, like, in full gear. You know what I mean? They got their tanks on, everything. There's military,
Dang.
Border Patrol, like, tons of service members all climbing. And people climbing with their kids, like, on their backs. Like, it's insane. And, like, the stairwells get extremely hot, and it gets extremely packed, and they do that on purpose because that's how it was on 9/11. Yeah. So
Wow.
it's very, very intense. It's very emotional. A lot of people.
I'm sure it's therapeutic for a lot of
It is.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It is for me. I mean, I know I get a lot out of it. I can expend a lot of that anger and confusion and just questions I'll never get answers for. It all just comes out in that climb. You know what I mean? And it's pretty amazing. So if you're able to register, you just go to San Diego 9/11 memorial stair climb.com, and you can register. And I think there's still spots open. It usually sells out. I'm pretty certain that it will sell out this year, considering the last 2 years they had to cancel it. But yeah, it's on this year. So, and then of course, come to the benefit show at Brick by Brick that night, if you're able.
September 10th, 2022.
That's right.
Brick by Brick, San Diego.
Yep.
Saturday night, yes.
So Nothing Haunts Me will be playing at 7, and then followed by Sleeping Faceless, and then The Almighty Godhammered at 9, Defy the Tyrants at 10 o'clock, and then we have Squirrely Arts closing it out at 11. So it's gonna be a banger. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, it's a stacked lineup. Incredible musicians, incredible people. So hope to see all of you there.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we will be there. And, okay, well, I think this is a perfect time maybe to take a little break real quick.
Sure.
And thank you so much for that and sharing all that, because you know what, like it like he said, kudos to you, and it inspires a lot of people, and it really does, create more of this energy of people wanting to, do things like this, give back,
right,
and be a part of things like this. And I think you're awesome.
Thank you.
We all think you're awesome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And anyone who ever has questions about September 11th or Flight 93 in particular, again, that was the flight Deora was on. It's a pretty life-changing story if you give yourself the time to learn it and understand it. It's very inspiring, and I know it changed my life. So, and for the better. So yeah, I encourage everyone out there to learn her story and learn the story of Flight 93.
Well, I was just going to say, if you wanted to, because I know that maybe a lot of people haven't watched the other episode that we did, and you talked a little bit about Deora. So maybe when we come back, you could do that for
of course,
a few minutes.
I'm always down to share information about her. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll be right back.
Right here's where you need to be like, action.
Action. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what we're doing, then hit the like button and subscribe. What do they say? Smash that like button.
There you go. No mercy.
No mercy. Anyways, welcome back. And we are here with G-Dogg
Hey
still,
again.
and Kevin and Darren.
Hi,
Yes.
Darren.
Yes.
Hey, bud.
Say hi, honey.
Hey guys.
So where we left off is we were talking about the whole 9/11 charity that you're doing, the show, and we were talking about a little bit about Deora, and then I realized that some of you probably haven't watched the other episodes, so I'm going to ask G-Dogg to kind of just give us a little briefing about his friend Deora and what happened with her, and she's a huge reason why he does this.
Yeah,
So.
she's actually the reason.
The reason.
Of course, I've met a lot of other families over the years at anniversaries and 9/11 related events, but Deora is definitely the one who has sparked all this in terms of the fundraising. And not just fundraising for 9/11, but it was like the Flight 93 benefit shows I was doing, it became kind of a springboard for other charities and like situations where I felt a benefit show was warranted. Like I remember in 2010 there were those massive tornadoes that tore through Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and instantly I saw that on the news. I was like, oh my god, we gotta do a benefit show for Tuscaloosa. Like that whole city's in ruins. You know what I mean? So it was just like this instant like bam, I gotta do something. You know what I mean? So and again, like bands came out and jammed, and we raised money for like Tuscaloosa or St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. I do benefit shows for them, and so just various charities have I've put together benefit shows for other charities as a result. From starting the Flight 93 benefit shows back in 2007 actually. Yeah, it was 6 years later. It took a long time for me to kind of deal with stuff.
Yeah.
I won't go into that, but
and kind of figure out what the fact that you even wanted to do these things.
Yeah, so my very first visit, like I would go home for Christmas. My parents' house is about 2.5 hours south of Flight 93 National Memorial. And at the time, there was just a temporary memorial that was built by residents. It sat about 800 yards or so back from the crash site, which had been fenced off by the FBI. And every year that I was just like, I can't go. I'm not ready. And then in Christmas of 2006, my parents were like, you need to go. So, in so many words. So, we went up, and it was actually at that visit where I kind of reconnected with Deora and was just like, what the fuck do I do, man? I've been like dealing, like, you haven't been here for 5.5 years. Like, this is fucked up. And, and it just kind of hit me, like, I know so many amazing people in the music scene. She loved music. It's like, quit your bitching and crying and do something positive, like, to preserve my memories. Kind of the message I got from her.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm literally staring out at the crash site, and I was like, benefit show. And I was like, oh my God. And I left, and I was like so amped to get back to San Diego.
Yeah.
I gotta get the fuck back here.
Excitement.
I gotta like get back here. And like, the first show we had like 7 or 8 bands, I think, and it was at Dream Street. And that was on 9/11/2007, and it just kind of took off from there. I mean, there was like, in the early years, it was like we were doing at least 2 shows a year. It was like around 9/11, and I was doing one around Deora's birthday in April.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, people just, they took to it. You know what I mean? Like the music, that's what makes the music scene so awesome. It's like I did one in April, and bam, I'm doing another one in September, and everybody that came to the one in April came in September too, So it's like, it just, that's what I love about the music scene here. It's like the talent of the bands and and just the band members as human beings. And then of course everybody comes out to support also, because it's obviously it's a dual effort,
Right.
And everybody, that's the thing. Like, that's what I love about about the bands in San Diego that play the shows is that they're not doing it for money. They're doing it to support a cause. That's bigger than all of us, and that's what. How do I say it? Like that's what puts the music scene, like it's just a grade above all the other music scenes that I've been exposed to as throughout my life.
Right. It's like it truly is a group of a lot of people who really just want to help others and have fun and feel good, be good human beings, like you said.
Yep.
And so something like this is perfect because it gives everybody not only an excuse to get together, but to do something good and feel good about it.
Right.
A show just to have a show is fun too, but when there's a purpose for it, it's like, it just makes it more exciting somehow, I guess.
It does. It does for me. When I look around and see everybody like just having a good time and like, people are coming up to me and they're like, they're getting, I have so many memories of like, I'm walking along the bar, and there's people like, they're like, there was like one time, God, I can't remember who it was, but they were doing a shot, and as they were walking by me, they like bumped me and they stuffed like a 20 in the fireman's boot that I was carrying to get extra donations, people just get in that in that mode. Yeah. And they just, it's like they want to help. And so it's like we're kind of being who we are as like metalheads, like we're crazy and like we like to get drunk and fucking have a good time. But at the same time, it's like, still supporting this cause at the same time. You know what I mean? Like it just speaks volumes to the metal community, I think.
Yeah, and a lot of the people who've come are all the same people who come every year and support you. A lot of the bands have played multiple years.
Yeah, I like it.
You guys played last year, right?
Yeah.
And, because a lot of them.
Godhammered's been there a lot. And when Darren was in Hero Within had played the show.
Yeah, and that was a great one.
I think One Theory played one too, man.
Yeah. Back in the day, you had One Theory. So Darren's been there pretty much since the get go.
Yeah.
So again, it speaks volumes to Darren.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To everybody, all of us. Cheers to all of us.
Yeah.
Cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
The Death Water, and I am not sponsored or anything, but
She can be though.
but hit me up.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I lean back there.
Yeah.
She's funny.
But I know that, the families all appreciate what we're doing out here, and sometimes, and it's, many shows, Deora's mother's come, and we'll be talking on other like news interviews and stuff, and she'll pop that in there about the things we're doing here in San Diego. And she's like, they're a wild bunch, but I love all of them, And she's like,
awesome.
I always pack. She always says how she packs extra Tylenol because she's always like doing tequila shots when she comes to the shows. So, so I know the families really appreciate it, and this goes like all across the country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they just they're so appreciative that it's not so much the money aspect anymore because the memorial's done. It's now it's just preserving their legacy and making sure, because the show itself, especially when people have never been to a show, like when I see people that I've never met, I'll go out of my way to thank them, and a lot of them are like, oh yeah, I'm here with my daughter, she's like 22 or whatever, and like she doesn't have any, she was like a little baby on 9/11, so I felt it was important that she came. So to hear things like that, it's like, okay, this is working.
Yeah, definitely.
This is what I want to see.
Yeah, and it not only helps preserve the memory as well as, memorialize it even more and honor, Deora and all the people who were lost. But, that's a great way to introduce, people who have never been exposed to the bands as well.
Exactly. It's like a win-win-win.
It's like people are showing up for this show, but they get to also see, all these great bands. And
right.
So that's really cool and fun.
And that's the thing with the shows. Like, I try to, usually, Godhammered is, the last couple of years anyway, they're usually my first go-to, just because they've always been so supportive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys will get the prime slot, of course, because you guys are always there without a pinch. You know what I mean? For the most part. But then I like to reach out to, I see new bands coming up or whatever, and I'll reach out to them too, because it's like, I'd like to give new bands the opportunity to be a part of it as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a mix, Like Sleeping Faceless, they played last year for the first time, and they're coming back.
They were awesome.
And they're fun. Yeah. And Nothing Haunts Me. They played in 2013, and I honestly didn't hear anything from them for years. And then Angel, their singer, he messaged me a couple months ago. He's like, dude, can we get on? And I was like, I totally want you guys, but like, it's pretty full. I was like, let me see if I can because Sleeping Faceless was scheduled to play at 8. And everybody was like, oh yeah, let's bring them in, and we can adjust the times, and everybody worked together.
Right,
We'll
figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. It was like everybody just seems to work really well together. You know what I mean? Like it's like a true team kind of effort. You know what I mean? A true team feeling. So that's on behalf of the bands and Brick. You know what I mean? Like everybody just works so well together. Kind of runs like a fine oiled machine at this point.
Yeah.
Shows going on.
Yeah, you just gotta. Yeah,
everybody
that's
respects
amazing.
their time. They play, they rage, and then okay, next. You know what I mean? And then they can get off stage, and then they can have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Sleeping Faceless, they kind of sound like Rage Against the Machine a little, huh?
They do.
I've heard a little bit of their stuff.
Yeah, and they bring a ton of
energy too, and we talked about them the last time but I still haven't gone out to see them play, so it'll be cool to see them at that show.
They're really cool. Like they like I said, they opened last year, and like I remember before the doors opened, I went out onto the patio, and it was like this mass. It was like at least 50 something people. I was like, whoa! And it was all people I'd never really seen
It's their friends
before.
and family,
so they
and
brought
stuff.
their own crew, and I was just
that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's cool. I remember that happened with them, and then way back in the day in 2009 when I don't know if you guys remember Beneath Lanston.
Yeah,
back in the day. Justin's band, they played it for the first time at Dream Street, and it was like 10 minutes before the doors were going to open, and they rolled up with like 50, 60 people.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, damn, dude. Nice. I was in my mind like, they're going to play this thing repeatedly for sure, because they brought a ton of hits as well.
Street, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That was a tiny but amazing venue.
It really was, yeah. I remember seeing a Wade and Samsara there back in the day.
Yeah, I loved Dream Street.
Yeah, it was a fun venue. Yeah, so Dream Street was initially, it was kind of Dream Street and Brick. I was doing the shows at both.
Kind of going back and forth.
Yeah, and then ultimately just kind of Brick took over the spot. Yeah, so definitely very appreciative of Brick by Brick and just all the bands and fans over the years that have shown their support and love. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it the same owners? Brick by Brick?
Brick,
Is it?
It's changed. I mean, when I started, it was Max.
Well, I know it was Nick and
Jarrett was there.
Jordan, right, for a little
Jordan
bit.
Still got a part of it.
Jordan,
does he? Okay. Cool. Yeah. Well, you know what? They keep bringing good bands and stuff and having great shows. So
they do.
I'm so stoked about that. We've talked about this before. We've all used to go there before they even had a patio. So the fact that they're still killing it, that's really cool.
They are. Yeah.
So, well, speaking of the show, we can go ahead and maybe switch gears here and talk to Kevin a little bit.
Hi.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy. I'm not going to say your last name because you're going to have all kinds of girls trolling you all over Instagram. We'll just say Kevin.
Chef Kevin.
Godhammered Kevin.
That's how you are on my phone.
Chef Kevin. Yes. Yes, he's also a chef. Master and that's chef. A whole nother thing. But he it cooks really good food. Are you still working at the Barley Mash?
Barley Mash, and we have a couple other restaurants called Smoking Gun and a coffee and bagel concept called
Oh my goodness. And, so and you're like busy. The boss? Yeah. The boss chef?
I'm the head dishwasher, man. I'm the best damn dishwasher there is.
You know what? I'm sure you've done your share.
Still doing it.
Yes. So, Godhammered, they were doing a little, because you guys used to play together in Awaiting Samsara.
Correct.
Some of you guys.
Correct, yeah.
And then it kind of like was something they started together, right?
Correct, yeah. So originally we were in a band called Awaiting Samsara that played a lot, and it was Josh and Ray, the singer, and I kind of started just a little side project, just trying to be as down-tuned and just heavy and slow and low as possible. And it was just really, really fun. And then when we kind of parted ways with Awaiting Samsara about 2010, I moved to Austin, Texas, out there. And so then they kind of started pushing this a little bit more. And I think Godhammered's first show was 2011. So
wow.
We're playing pretty strong. Mm-hmm. A couple little lineup changes, but still staying really strong to just the slow and low.
The slow and low. Yeah.
San Diego, like we're talking about with the metal community, it's a small one. I mean, compared to certain other cities and everything, but it's a good tight group, and everybody loves each other, and we get out and have a really good time.
Yeah, and it really has been a lot of the same people for the last, 20 years.
Very incestual. in the best way.
In the best way. Seriously, if, bands were relationships, it is so incestual. I mean, God, y'all have banded together every single...
it's like that Kevin Bacon game. You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, these guys, okay, so-and-so used to be in this band with this band, and so-and-so with this band. But Awaiting Samsara, you guys... were together, and then Godhammered is kind of like the same little group.
Child.
Yes, it's the love child. Godhammered is the love child of Awaiting Samsara. I like that. We were listening to some of it this morning, and really good. And I feel bad that I haven't listened, taken the time to listen a lot. I've been to a couple shows, and you guys are always great on. Yeah, just a few. You guys are great on stage and everything, but taking the time to actually listen to the audio and listening to the songs is kind of a totally different experience, because it is harder to understand some of the things.
You can hear every word Ray's saying, right?
You know what? That's the best. All I know is I could freaking headbang the shit out of that music when I'm there.
Very well.
Yes.
He does.
He does. For as low and deep as a human being can go, he enunciates pretty damn well.
Yeah, and it's Ray and you that sing, right? But then you have Aaron.
Aaron sings. Derek sings every once in a while.
Oh, so you guys just kind of switch it up for different songs.
Kind of whoever's feeling
That's kind of cool. You're like, tonight I got a sore throat. You got me?
For me, I'm not a very good guitarist, so it's more okay, what can I do?
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, I could do the singing part or the screaming part or the singing part.
I'll get cocky and try and do both and fail miserably. But play it off well. Play it off well.
So I wrote down a few different songs that were my favorite.
Oh, nice.
So the album Forever, I kind of did like that one more because it's got a little bit more of the clean singing in there, which I really like. But they're all really good. And Wolf Moon is so good.
That was a cool cover.
Oh my God. It was so cool.
Amazing Eli Santana helping us out.
Is that who helped?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's right.
Yeah, when I heard that one, I was like, wait, this is different. And then I'm like,
different.
okay, this is really cool. It's like so theatrical.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like listening to it going, yes.
Everybody knows.
Good.
For sure.
Yeah, oh my gosh,
That's
that is
what
what
I
Darren
said.
said. Yeah. So this is a cover of them. See, and I'm not a huge fan of them. Not fan, but just I never listened to them a lot, you know. That's all it is. But obviously I am because so I need to go listen to some more Typo Negative. But Darren did say that. He's like he said it's Typo Negative. Anyway. And then The Legacy of Defiance. That one was really good.
Yeah, it's good heavy. Has a cool groove to it. Like a beginning part that's a little weird, but then just gets into a really kind of cool groove, and then has some good heavy breakdowns and everything.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it has everything. And then there's this part where it made me think that my Spotify was playing tricks on me. And just goes all like soft.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm just like, wait, what is this? Oh, that's the same song. Okay. And then at the very end, it's like, rah, again. So that was really cool.
It's an alarm clock, you know?
Yeah.
You go to sleep a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit out of you, wakes you up a little bit.
Yeah. That one was really cool. And then, oh yeah, I had a question. Crush. Is that a real little kid?
That is Josh, our guitarist's son.
Okay, I wanted to know. Okay, so it's like it starts out with a little kid, and it's like
so rad.
Crush, CRUSH, and it's like this little kid's voice. It's so cool, and I'm like, I wonder if that's a real little kid.
Yeah. I always get the chills on that one too.
Yeah.
That would be a fun song to turn into an actual song, but it's a great intro for sure.
Yeah, you guys get really creative with all the different things, which I really like. You know, it's not just like all the same thing.
Absolutely.
That's what I was gonna say too.
Yeah.
Like Godhammer is known as like slow and low. Like it's funny. Like I'm trying to think who it was. At one point, even I did. I think it fell off. They put on our slow cooker. They have like high, medium, and then I wrote Godhammered. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That is great.
But I think like as time went on, like you guys definitely got more experimental. Like with D-Lo, you guys did Steadfast, and you know. So
you guys changed quite a bit.
Absolutely. Definitely have stepped out of your comfort zone, I think, a little bit. But that's the thing; it's all amazing. I know for me, Memories for Lightweights is the go-to. They're all great, but
Memories are for Lightweights.
Like if somebody's
that's
like, "I've never heard
funny.
Godhammered. Can you play some Godhammer for me?" This is the last call. Like
Pretty sure
that's the one.
First song that was ever like really written. We had a couple
So
in the works, but
good.
that was the first. Josh, our guitarist, he's kind of the main writer of a lot of it, and then Ray and him did a lot of the lyrics, and we all kind of helped out. But
I was gonna say
that's a
that was
must.
from
Yeah.
the early
Yeah,
beginning
that
years. You guys have like 4 or 5 albums? Or is it?
The first one was an EP, and then what we did with the last few recordings, just kind of splitting them up, 2 songs that kind of just go with each other.
Right.
And I think with everybody's attention abilities nowadays, just kind of giving a couple songs out every once in a while. And
Oh,
there's
yeah.
just so much out there. So and then
You guys
Josh
dropped like
and then,
there's like 3 or 4 EPs, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Over like they came out over like a month.
we
or something.
did
like
we
2 months or
recorded,
something.
I think about 6 of the songs all at one time, and they just split it up in little categories that kind of fit each other's theme.
Yeah.
And had fun with the artwork, and there was a
Yeah.
little girl, and I think it's Defiance flipping off the camera. And that's Josh's other. little
Oh,
daughter,
that's
too,
so awesome. I love
And then if
that.
you look at the Forever EP, there's images in there of Stoney
Yes.
and of Brooke and like
Yeah, I recognized
famous
Brooke's
musicians.
face and
Yeah.
And Stoney, and then it had I think like Dimebag
Anyway,
and
it's
Yeah.
been lost over
Yeah.
the years and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's like a
I love
little
that.
urban collage
Josh
style.
actually texted me. He's like, "G-Dogg, you have any good pictures of Brooke and Stoney?" And one of Brooke actually ended up on the cover, which I was really
That's so cool.
I was really happy to see. Yeah, that's a great EP. Is Forever. Oh, man.
Yeah, I really
It's a good
liked that. What was the song 7?
Oh, 7.
Yeah, that
Seven's a
one was
deep
cool
one.
too.
That's
I really liked that one.
That tugs at the heartstrings
Yeah,
for sure.
We
Yeah.
there was man.
James.
Yeah, it's Jim. He was a vocalist in oh man, I'm drawing a blank. Before We Were Waiting Samsara. Oh, the guys are gonna kill me because it's a virus called Life. It's a cool. So Josh and John, a couple of the members when I was in. This is all the incestual part of it. Ray was in a band called Season of Decay. I was in a band called Season of Decay. Ray was the singer of a band called Civil Unrest.
Yes,
And
Civil
then
Unrest.
Yeah, and then Josh and them were in a band, Virus Called Life, and the singer Jim was special ops, military, and so he
Badass.
served. He was so freaking intimidating. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But just such a cool dude, and so he ended his life unfortunately a few years ago. And so we just wanted to give an ode to him on that and stuff. So that's where kind of the whole forever, just remembering people. That's why it's so,
Yeah.
9/11, G-Dogg, and San Diego
Yes.
being such a military base. Aaron, our guitarist, being a chief in the Navy right now, and us being such supporters of any type of military base. That definitely tugs at the heartstrings.
Yeah,
for sure, on that one, for sure.
that's right. You guys did that military
Yeah,
show,
yeah, it
right?
was so
For
fun.
Aaron, that
Yeah.
they did
Yeah.
with The Hero
Yeah.
Within?
Yeah.
Exactly.
The banger and the hanger.
Dang.
We're gonna try and do it again.
So
It's
many
just-
of these little memories just like popping out. I'm
was a
like,
fun
oh
night. It
yeah,
was
that was really fun. And it was
man.
like a really cool, the hanger and everything. And I remember the pictures had like all the stuff hanging in the back
So
and
cool.
everything.
Gigantic
Yeah,
flag in
Yeah.
the
so
background.
cool.
Yeah.
We're trying to do that again. All being a military base, it was a royal pain in the butt to get civilians on there, but it was really really cool. So we're gonna try to do that again.
Yeah.
So certain bands are gonna have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember we were all outside kind of like just bundled up like, okay, ready? Okay. Then we had like an escort and
Yeah,
they took
yeah.
us all in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Down the corner.
No, it was fun.
Well, that'd be great. You guys do that again.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It is such an awesome show, and for G-Dogg to put amount of effort, and when you were talking earlier, just have to, the amount of, to do fundraisers, or even to book a show. I know, Darren, you can attest to this, just to book a show, book bands, venue, deal with all the bullshit that goes along with that is a lot of work. It's not just like, hey, we're going to take this date and go from this way. And for
Flat
Rick-
times and who's backlining.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just
For
one
Brick
thing.
by Brick to always be great supporters of it, and just what a rad venue,
Right.
great sound. It has been home for. Dream Street's not around anymore, but there's not a lot of metal venues in San Diego. I feel,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of home for any touring band going through, and then all the local bands that just.
Yeah.
Man, and the amount of talent that's been on that stage, that's what, every time I step on it, just to think of like the touring acts and the local
Yeah.
bands that are up there, I always kind of just give a little bit of a, damn.
Yeah, and it is
Yeah.
a really cool venue for that. Like they have really good acts that come through, and you get up and close and personal. You get to go. Shut up. Up close and personal. That's what I was trying to say. Up and personal. You're such a jerk. He's always got to make fun of me. It's
I know
okay.
what
That's
you're
why we're together. But you do. You get to kind of like when you go there to see one of your favorite bands. You get to see them when they're walking through. You get to see them
absolutely.
when they're hanging out, like, in between. A lot of times you can get pictures taken, if they're really cool.
Yeah.
And so I know I've seen a lot of people